right, guys, welcome to a new episode of the Type1lifting podcast. The pool boy is back for round two. So we actually talked last about you possibly going team, and you actually went team. Well, you were thinking about going individual, and then you went team.
Well, yeah, I was. When was the last time we talked?
I think like 3 or 4 months ago.
Yeah, 3 or 4 months. So yeah, I was kind of in this situation where I had left the gym that I was previously at, so I kind of had this like not so. I pretty much only had the choice of trying to go individually out there in the West, and then man, crazy story. Ended up being hooked up with a team way on the other side of the country, being from California, going all the way to Massachusetts, and now I'm going to semis on a team.
Yeah, because I saw your Instagram and you were at Logan Airport, and I'm like, bro, like, what are you doing in Boston? You're like a Cali guy.
Yeah,
Like, what's the deal?
yeah,
So,
I know.
and then you said you joined a team, and I was like, okay, whose team? And it was funny because Lindsay, I interviewed a couple, like I think a couple weeks before you, and Vic's been on the
Oh,
team,
cool.
and Vic's been on like on my podcast like literally like once a month, and so he was
Yeah.
talking about the team too. So how did all of this like come together of you joining the team on the East Coast?
God, man, where to start? So it was a crazy story. I was at the gym that I was at when I was last on the podcast with you. Unfortunately, we kind of parted ways, and so I was in this limbo period of, I had brought in some app. Actually, I had brought in three of the athletes that are over at my previous gym to be on a team for quarterfinals and potentially semifinals. But obviously, since we parted ways, I didn't really have that in the front view mirror anymore. So it's kind of in this weird just limbo period of like, what am I going to do? I was kind of still like searching out my options in terms of a
Hmm.
job. I had like a pretty decent amount of gyms trying to court me in this whole process, but I wanted to seek out my best options and just kind of make sure I was making the right decision. And long man, and then eventually I had a mutual friend. I don't know if you know Liz Mullica. Do you know who Liz Mullica is? She's a
Now,
photographer. Well, I had this friend, Liz, who I had met through photo shoots that I had done with or Misfit back at like Wadapalooza, not this last one, but the year prior.
hmm.
And she kind of got the whiff of my situation, asked me what my plans were in terms of the open, and I told her, I was like, honestly, I don't have an idea what I was going to do for the open. I'm probably just going to hit up one of my nearby gyms and just do the open there. And she was like, well, I have a friend out here in Massachusetts who's looking for a fourth person to join her team. Would you be interested possibly? And I was like, ah, man, that sounds like a pretty amazing opportunity, but unfortunately, I don't have the financial means to just uproot my life and be out there for the 3 weeks of the open. Because
Hmm.
by rule, if you want to compete under an affiliate, you have to be there for the all three of the open workouts. And she was like, okay, well, let me just get you in contact with her anyways, and you guys can kind of just go from there and just talk it out. And I said, all right, well, cool. So she ends up contacting me with this girl, Lindsay. Her name's Lindsay Grasses. She owns CrossFit 1977. And we were just talking, told her about my situation. And then she was like, well, I mean, I could offer you some classes to coach while you're here in the meantime for a means of income. And I was like, okay, well, that sounds pretty nice. So then I went back to my friend Liz, told her, I was like, well, here's the situation. She offered me a few classes to coach, but I just don't think it's going to be enough. This is the kind of the barrier of entry for me. He ended up getting me hooked up with another amazing gym, beautiful community called Carter Park CrossFit, located here in Chelsea, Massachusetts. That guy, I was talking to him, got me owner of the gym. His name's Koki. He got me a few classes to coach there as well. So then I go back to my teammates, talk to them, and this is all through like a group chat.
Hmm.
Lindsay, other guy named Luke, and this other amazing female athlete named Danny. And I'm telling them, like, guys, everything's kind of lining up a little bit here. The only problem now is I can't spend like $1,000 on a rental to be out there for like 3 weeks and beyond potentially. So then I get back into contact with the owner of Carter Park, and I told him my situation. I was like, "Oh man, listen, I really would love to go out there. The only problem is I don't have access to a vehicle. I just cannot spend $1,000 on a rental." And he was like, "Oh, well, you know what? I happen to have an extra car that I can just lend you." So literally the stars lined up. I got coaching opportunities not only at Lindsay's gym at CrossFit 1977, Carter Park CrossFit, but then also this amazing other gym in the Marlboro. I hope I'm
Marlboro.
saying
Yeah, you said it right.
Marlboro. I always fuck that up. I can't say it. Area called CrossFit Crag. They also offered me a few coaching spots because I guess my teammate Luke works out there periodically, and then his twin brother as well. So man, the stars just lined up. Got the car. Literally was introduced to my teammates on a Saturday. Figured out all the logistics on Sunday. Bought my ticket that Sunday night. Flew in to Boston that I think Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't remember. I think it was a Wednesday. That Wednesday. So literally, what, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, like 3 days later, 4 days later, met my male teammate Luke at the airport for the first time ever meeting him. Guy was amazing and let me sleep on his couch basically for 2 months through the 3 weeks of the Open and the quarterfinal stage, and literally met Lindsay and Danny for the very first time that Friday when we did the Open workout. Crazy, man. Complete strangers, and now they're like family to me, and I couldn't imagine not meeting them. So that's the crazy story. And we did the 3 weeks of the Open. I decided originally I was going to fly back after the Open, but financially I was like, that fucking doesn't make sense because I had to come right back for the quarterfinals. So I ended up just staying and living in Boston for 2 months through the Open, through the quarterfinals. And luckily we made it worth it and ended up qualifying in the East, which I learned very hardly that it's, or very hard, the hard way, that it's competitive as hell here in the East. So luckily it made out well, finished 21st at the quarterfinals, heading to now the semis down in Orlando. But man, it's crazy though. If we plugged in our scores on the West, we were 21st in the East, we'd be 8th in the West, which is a game spot, man. So they gotta fix something out there. I know they're doing they're allocating extra spots to more competitive areas, but that's only for like the individuals. They didn't do that for the teams, man. It's crazy. The top 17 teams in the world are from the East, and only 10 of them get to go to the games.
That's insane. That's insane.
But that's the crazy story, man. And so I, after the quarterfinals, went back home for literally like a month and a half, just to I missed my family, missed my friends, had to do a couple adult things, ended up accepting an amazing head coaching position over at a gym called CrossFit LifeWorks, and also had to pay my damn taxes and all that great stuff. So it was a short trip back home for a week and a half, and now I am here in Boston. Just flew in what's today, Thursday? Flew in yesterday at 4 a.m. So my days are a little screwy right now, but yeah, so now I'm back. And so I'm going to stay here, train with the team as much as we can, and then fly straight to Orlando from here.
So are you in Chelsea right now, or where are you at?
Framingham.
Framingham. Okay, that's a little further west out in the city, but it's not too bad.
Yeah, no, it worked out great because Framingham is in the dead middle. So if I had to go coach at Lindsay's gym or go work out with her, boom, it's like a 30-minute drive. I don't know, north. I don't know where the hell I am. One way, and then when I have to coach at Carter Park down in Chelsea, same thing, 30 minutes. The opposite way. So it's right in the middle. Worked out fine. And it's a beautiful drive. It's really cool driving to Chelsea because it goes right through Boston. I get to see TD Garden.
Yep.
I get to see where the Boston Bruins and the Celtics practice, the practice arena and stuff. So really cool.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool. I love that city, but the wintertime sucks. But summer, springtime is top notch by far. I mean, the fall's pretty good when you go up north to Maine and New Hampshire and stuff like that. But springtime in Boston, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, and that's where Danny, my second female, she's in New Hampshire. So and that's another thing that tripped me out about being here in the East Coast is everything is so close. So literally just an hour away, I'm in a totally different state. So we'll drive over to her gym because her gym has all the important tools that we need, like the worm, handstand ramp is over there. So we'll drive up there periodically to use all that fun stuff, and then she'll drive down and train with us times too.
Very cool. So was this your first time in Massachusetts, or?
First time, man, first time, and being a California boy, going straight to the East Coast, dude, it took. I learned some hard lessons, man. There'd be like a few mornings where I would go coach at Carter Park at like the 5:30 a.m. class, and I'm like, fuck, dude, how do I scrape this ice off the car? I'm like using my bare hands to like get the snow off. Hands are like getting numb and stuff. So I had learned very quickly, go buy a snow scraper, a snow shovel thing to wipe all the snow off. And it took me about a week, and then I kind of learned the ropes of living out here in Boston.
Yeah, were you
But
shitting
yeah,
your?
the weather.
Were you shitting your
The
pants
weather
when it
is the one
snows?
thing. Oh yeah, I definitely shat myself a few times, especially driving. Driving in the snow for the first time, I was tripping balls a little bit, worried about like swerving around on the ice and stuff. But after a while, I got used to it pretty quick, so it was fine. But the one thing I learned a lot about being here is the weather is super bipolar.
Mm-hmm.
There'd be times where I'd wake up, sun's out, it's beautiful, feels just like home, like maybe 50, 45, it's not bad at all. But then like a couple hours later, clouds start rolling in, starts raining, and then when I'm leaving the gym, it's fucking snowing again. It's just crazy.
Yep, yep, yeah. It's just, yeah, like I said, like spring and summertime is probably like the best time. But like the only problem is like you literally only have 3 months worth of like good weather, pretty much there. So
Yeah, luckily I'm here. I was told it's going to be pretty nice while I'm here, pretty much. So
yeah,
won't
well,
be
that's
too
good.
bad.
Yeah. So when
Yeah.
you walked into CrossFit 1977 with those like action figures painted on those walls, like what did you think about the gym and everything?
Uh, Lindsay will probably laugh because she really thinks her gym is like kind of just not too much to brag about. But I think it's a cool gym. It definitely has a vibe, and that's like one of my favorite things about just seeing other gyms around the country and stuff. It's just every gym is different. It's always cool to see how they do things. But yeah, the superhero mural, it sets the tone and the attitude of the gym. I really dig it. They have an amazing community there, beautiful people, and like I literally could not. I'm such a community person, and I couldn't be more just humbled and just proud to be able to represent them and represent those people, getting to know them for the 2 months that I was here. They're incredible, amazing individuals. They were super sweet to me while I was here, super supportive of me. And yeah, I just couldn't thank that community enough. So I'm really excited to go out and represent them at the East semis this year. It's gonna be a blast.
Nice. Yeah, and in the box in Chelsea too is really done nice too with the brick
Dude,
wall
that
and
is a
everything. Yeah.
dope. That
Yeah.
is a dope gym. It's a really small gym, but they make it work, and it's really cool. Because when I say small, it's pretty small. Like if we have a class of 6 or 8 people, it gets pretty crowded in there. And then sometimes I'll have a class of like 12 people, and to like make them fit in that gym, like it somehow works. It's kind of beautifully set up where they're able to hang their rowers and their benches on the walls.
Hmm.
So it just kind of frees up a lot more floor space there. And but that's another really fun community to get to know and be a part of. They're also just super supportive and super young and very like vibrant. Like the energy there is very young at that gym. They just had their 5-year anniversary like the last day I was here, so I got to celebrate that with them. Super cool. Everyone there has literally only been doing CrossFit for like 2-3 years.
Oh, that's cool.
Been training with their head coach there, a guy named Damien, goes by Coach D. He another young cat. Want to say he's only like 25, 26. But the dude has got like so much potential. He's a young bull for sure. Stupid strong guy. He just needs to like get a little bit more experience in the CrossFit world, and he's got some potential too if he keeps at it. So it's been really cool getting to know both communities. They're awesome people there.
Yeah. So when you coach, like obviously you're a new coach at like all these gyms. So how do you kind of run the classes and like make sure that these people actually like, know that you're that what you're talking about is correct, pretty much.
I mean, having my experience, I mean, I've been coaching since 2015, so it's pretty. I mean, I'm sure you can attest to this too, but it's pretty easy to recognize a young coach versus an experienced coach right off the bat. So I go into it pretty confident. I don't ever get really too nervous in terms of being in a new situation like that. I'm a pretty extroverted person, so it doesn't take much for me to want to just kind of like stand out and be basically the commanding figure of a room. So it's kind of cool being able to bring my just ways of coaching and how I kind of do things. And I think they all appreciated it very much. I kind of stole this idea from that I originally first saw from a coach at my other gym that I used to be at. Her name's Brittany Brooks, stud Olympic weightlifter. She had this fun way of kind of just setting the tone of the class. She'd always have something what she calls a question of the day, where she just it has everyone introduce themselves, even if they all already know each other. And then she'll just always have like a random question of the day just to have them just, kind of a good icebreaker for the day. So I kind of took that and started implementing it at the gyms here because I'm like, well, one, I'm the new guy here. I don't know any of these people. I want them to get to know me a little bit too. So it was kind of an easy way and fun way for me to, one, remember their names because I'm really bad at remembering people's names. So that I'd always have them introduce themselves. And then plus, it was just a fun way for us to get to know each other, coach to members. And I think it was also kind of a cool way for them to get to know each other further because I'd always have like just these quirky questions like, hey, do you think aliens are real? Or if you could take a time machine. One of the favorite ones is if you could take a time machine and go back to any historical event, what would you choose? So it was always kind of fun to hear people's answers and stuff. So in terms of like bringing my coaching mentality to a gym and making sure that they kind of could trust me as a coach, that's never really an issue, especially once they like were asking me why I'm here and my reasons, and I tell them like, hey, I'm doing CrossFit thing, I'm here for the Open, trying to make it to the games, hopefully the semis, and they kind of like then get the idea that you're a high level athlete. Like right away, they just want to pick your brain and trust that you know what you're talking about stuff. If you're out here competing, taking your life, to move across the country for it.
Yeah. So do you do like any of your your clients or whatever when you're coaching the class, do they talk about like, what does it take to be in the CrossFit, games at all? Or like do they have like any ambitions of doing that other than like that Coach D?
Yeah, they never really express too much ambitions, but they definitely express a lot of the man, what's the word I'm looking for? Like fan gazing and stuff, where like they would just like ask me about a lot of the things like I've competed at, if I've ever met any of the high level athletes out there and stuff like that. So they would like, ask me those type of questions and kind of like fanboy out a little bit on the higher level athletes and events out there.
Yeah. So did anybody like see you as a coach when they walk in? They're like, oh shit, it's Pool Boy.
No one recognized me here. No one. No, my social media following did not bring me out here. Although embarrassingly enough, I did have someone recognize me at the airport that I was at. What airport? It was the Denver airport. I had someone come up to me and introduce themselves, and that was. I mean, it was cool. I don't want to say it was weird. It was weird for me because I just think of myself
Yeah.
as a normal person. Like, why would anyone want to follow me on Instagram, anyways? But that was kind of a funny experience.
So someone said there's like like something going on in Denver, like some
Someone
ghost
brought
thing.
that to my someone brought that to my attention that the Denver airport has some kind of a conspiracy behind it. I didn't ask too much about it, but I probably should Google it later on. But
You know what I think it is? So there's a horse that's outside the Denver airport, and there's also one I think in the Broncos stadium. So I think
horse.
yeah, like not a real horse, but like a figurine, like standing up with like his
Okay.
legs up in the air. So I think what happened was when the guy was making those horses, I think one of them actually landed on him and killed him or something like that. Something like the guy died for some freakish reason. So, and I think that's the horse that was in the Bronco Stadium. That's why his eyes are red, I guess, because the guy got killed from
Interesting.
the horse. It's something like that. I heard something of that. It's like, I
What does that
could.
have to do with the airport then?
Well, I mean, it's the same figurine that the Bronco Stadium that's in on the airport.
Interesting. I'm sure there's probably more to it as well, which I'll
Yeah.
probably Google after we're done.
Yeah,
Curious about that.
I went to Denver to snowboard, and I think someone told me that, and that was years ago when we went snowboarding. So I could be like completely way off on that story.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love conspiracy theories, so I'll probably dive into that.
What's the biggest conspiracy theory you like to kind of dive
Oh
into?
man, God, so many. How probably honestly, probably like I don't even know if you consider this much of a conspiracy theory. I guess you can because I kind of low key believe it because there's no other explanation for it. But like how the pyramids were built, like to this day, we have no absolute idea how they took these 2+ ton stones, chiseled them out literally in the mountains of like the Egypt, Africa area, whatever, and then drug them somehow through these mountains down into where they built the pyramids from. Somehow took these 2 ton plus stones and stacked them up on top of each other. Literally, no one can explain how the hell they were built. And the only explanation people ever really kind of come up with that is a little conspiracy and out there is that it was the help of some sort of extraterrestrial life form that came down and showed them how to do it.
Yeah. So speaking about extraterrestrials, so I was on TikTok, and Joe Rogan was talking about this alien crash landed in Brazil in like 1996. And so this alien creature came out, and he's like really slimy or something like that. Like he has like slime all over his body. And the guy, one of the guys that was trying to help him, picked him up and put him to do some studies on him and kind of make sure he's okay. And the guy, I guess from like the saliva from the alien skin, went into the guy's body and like pretty much killed him because it was like a complete like bacteria that they weren't even like.
Exposed to or anything.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
So it was, and like I guess like now this place in Brazil or whatever, like they have like all these like alien spaceships, and they have like multiple people that can like attest to the guy dying and like seeing that alien spacecraft.
Dude, that's yeah, don't even go down that rabbit hole with me. I am such an extraterrestrial just nerd, and like I want to believe that it's all real so badly. I don't know if you're familiar with the Bob Lazar story, but I dove in so deep into that whole story of his, which is just absolutely, if it's true, if everything he said is true, that he really worked on some super secret aerospace program that was reverse engineering spacecrafts, like if that is all true, then like oh my god, it's just yeah, that stuff fascinates me.
Yeah, I don't think the aliens want to come down to Earth now. They might want to wait a couple of years after all the shit goes through.
What do you mean? I feel like aliens would.
With like all this like war going on with like like Russia and
Well, I feel like
Iraq,
that. I feel like this is like the perfect reason for aliens to come down and check us out. I mean, we do it all the time as humans. We go out into the jungle and watch gorillas just fuck each other up, and animals do crazy shit. You know, it's almost like why wouldn't aliens come down to our area and be like, look at these fucking Neanderthals just blowing each other up? Like, why are they doing this? Like, this is fascinating. They're
Mhm.
probably studying us the same way we study, go out in the wild and study, animals doing what crazy fucking animals do out in the wild,
Yeah, true. You're right. You're right. Yeah, I could see that. So
There you go.
as you're your first time and like you've been in Boston for a little while, you actually been to a first Boston restaurant. So can you kind of talk about it instead of like Chili's and like Fridays and shit?
Yes, man. My teammates. I was here for 2 months. 2 months, and literally only ever went to an Applebee's, Chili's, Chipotle. Oh God, I think those are the restaurants we ended up going to, and then finally I got to go to actual into the Boston area and experience this absolutely amazing restaurant called the Capital Burger.
Capital Grill.
Um, no, not Capital Grill. I was told
Okay.
that there's like a sister restaurant or something called the Capital Grill, but this place is called the Capital Burger, and God, it was really really good, and it made me happy because they use like they fry their French fries in beef tallow, and that
Oh,
just
okay.
made me super excited because everyone who knows me personally, I try to stay away from like processed oils and vegetable
Hmm.
oils and seed oils and stuff. So to see that they use like literally beef tallow to fry their French fries, I was like, sold. Let's go try this place out. And so yeah, the burger was phenomenal. French fries, God, you could literally taste the difference in terms of like the oil that they used. I can't really describe it, but it just tasted cleaner, if that makes sense. Like the French fry still tasted like a potato, but it was still like got a French fry vibe to it. The best way I can kind of just compare it to is if anyone on the West Coast has experienced In and Out, like those French fries, you can tell that they're like potatoes because they taste a lot like just a potato and they're terrible.
Hmm.
Like I think In and Out French fries are just garbage. Um, so it's a lot. This place was a lot like that, except way better. If that makes sense. I don't know. People from the West Coast who've had an In and Out will know what I'm talking about. Their burgers are amazing. Their French fries suck.
Yeah, I mean, I see that as a lot of burger joints too. So
Yeah.
there's one place in Boston you got to go. Well, actually, did you go into into Boston this Monday for Boston Marathon, or you kind of like
No,
stayed
no.
away?
I flew in
Oh,
yesterday.
that's right. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yesterday at like 4 a.m. But I was kind of bummed because I had no idea the Boston Marathon was going on. So I saw like this like stories on my friends who are out here now, like posting the Boston Marathon, and like my roommate or the guy that I'm staying with, my teammate was telling me how I guess it starts in or some part of it starts in Framingham and they
yeah.
run all the way to Boston, which is
Hmm.
I mean to drive from Framingham to Boston is 30 minutes. So you can only imagine how long it would take to run.
Yeah.
So that's pretty crazy. So I was a
It
little bummed that I missed out on that, and plus just the history with the Boston Marathon in general, and then with the like Boston Marathon bombing that unfortunately happened. So it would have been cool to be here to just experience like that kind of like cool, really proud event that the
mhm.
city kind of rallies behind. So, but yeah, unfortunately I missed it.
It is the biggest drinking day in Massachusetts.
Other than St. Patrick's Day,
Yes, both of those two are like the biggest drinking days in Massachusetts.
what would you say that's bigger than St. Patrick's Day?
Yeah, I would say yeah, because like there's some people that do the marathon like run where like all the bars that are on the marathon like route, they'll go to every single bar till they get to Boston.
Will they stop and get a beer and keep running,
Yeah,
or what?
they'll no like no just like regular Joes just like that are not running. They'll just like go to a bar, grab a beer, then just drive down or walk down to the next one and just keep on going. And then like when you
See,
get
that's interesting.
when you get to like the final stretch, like on Boylston Street, that's like one of the biggest bar scenes around. And so like there's like that whole street down Boylston is like all bars down there. So it's like a huge drinking party down there.
That's so funny. Yeah, I was told when I was here for St. Patrick's Day. I didn't go into the city for that. I
Now you
wasn't
don't
gonna
want to.
bother. No. People are telling me people out here get drunk at 7 a.m., 8 a.m. I'm like, good God, that's insane, man.
Yeah. Now with the Boston Marathon bombing, I was actually working at the emergency room in Boston when that happened.
Oh shit.
So
How
that
was that?
was so I was the crazy thing is with the bombing was so where they set off the bombs was like literally smack dab in the middle of Boston, and there's like five major hospitals around that area. And
Yeah.
so and luckily like they have like all these EMT stations that were like right there when it happens. So
Hmm.
yeah, like we had, I'm trying to remember, I think we had like 36 people come in at once,
Wow.
and it was just like
Jesus.
anybody that had like burn marks in their neck, like they intubated them because they didn't want their necks to swell and like stop breathing, so that like hard
Yeah.
plastic will kind of keep their like throats stable to like actually breathe. And the guy the person I took care of, he had his whole heel blown off, and then he was like bleeding internally. It was bad,
His
like
heel, his heel, his foot.
his whole heel. Like we put
Oh
him in a
man.
C we put him in a CT scan. It literally looked like the night sky with all these like little pieces of bone just like all over the place. And like and I talked to the surgeon that kind of like the orthopedic surgeon that did the heel to fix it, and she's like, yeah, his heel's gonna be perfectly fine. We put everything back together again. And I'm like, what? And he's like,
How?
they just went piece by piece, did like literally just like it was almost like a puzzle piece. They were like, doop, doop, doop.
Dude, that
Okay.
is fascinating.
Yeah. And there was other people there with like their legs completely blown off, just like from the knee down. And they were on tourniquets and they were like, yeah, like they were talking normal. They weren't bleeding out or anything like that. Just, it was crazy. And then we were hearing stories of like other hospitals getting bomb threats and supposedly and shit like that. So yeah, it was quite an interesting day, like 10 years ago.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Wow. Yeah, I remember I watched the Mark Wahlberg movie, and that was like, man, I could only imagine experiencing that in person. And it
Hmm.
wasn't didn't maybe I'm messing the stories up, but didn't Jake Gyllenhaal play in a movie where he was like a survivor from the Boston Marathon bombing? Or maybe
Yes.
I'm
Yeah, yeah,
thinking,
yeah, yeah, yeah. So
is that the same one? Yeah,
yeah,
I haven't
so
seen that movie though.
no, like I don't watch those movies because like I've already lived it, so there's like really no point for me to see
Yeah,
it
kind
again.
of go
And
through that.
yeah, and like there's a Netflix documentary for like the Zanaev brothers that actually did the bombing, and like my wife and I were watching it, like the first like 30 seconds, like the bomb blew off, and my mom, my wife's like, no, I can't watch this, like I can't watch it anymore. So we just shut
Yeah,
it off, and I'm
so
like,
traumatic.
yeah, I'm like, I don't want to see that shit again. I mean, I've been there, done
Yeah.
that, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I could only imagine. Like, shoot, one of my favorite movies of all time is Saving Private Ryan, and I remember hearing when it first came out in theaters, like people like World War veterans were they had to like walk out because it was just that the whole D-Day opening scene was just way too realistic for them, and it was
Hmm.
just too much of a reenactment. Then kind of brought back that trauma for them and stuff. So yeah, I could only imagine, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like it's not like really traumatizing because like working in the ER for like 14 years, it's just like you kind of see the craziest shit ever, and it's just like,
Yeah,
all right, what's the next craziest thing you're gonna see? Pretty much, and it's
yeah.
just like it is what it is, and kind of like, and so sometimes I like see patients as like people that die like video games, like NPC kind of
Hmm.
people. Like, granted, I know they're real people and stuff, but like that's the way I cope. I'm just like, okay, they're not real. So this is just
Yeah.
something else, and just kind of go on to the next patient to take care of and stuff.
I mean, everyone becomes like have their own coping mechanisms, and just have their own ways of dealing with stuff like that, you know. And it's like you become, as morbid as it sounds, you become numb to that stuff when you're in that
Hmm.
field, and you kind of have to, you know. Like I have a lot of friends that are like in firefighting, and even like cops and stuff like that, and yeah, they'll tell me some like crazy stories, and it's just like, well, we've seen it so much that now we're just kind of numb to it.
Yeah, yeah. So since you've been in Boston for a good amount of time, do you want to stay there at all, or you just want to go back to the West Coast when everything's said and done?
It's crazy, especially like going through my experience of like of leaving my previous job and kind of not knowing what to do, where I was going to go. Part of being out in Boston for as long as I was is just to see like, what's out here in Boston. I know Ben Bergeron's gym's out here. Some people were telling me that they were looking for a full-time coach. There was like another couple gyms out here in the area looking for full-time coaches. And so part of me being out here for 2 months was just to experience life here, see if I can see myself uprooting my life and moving to Boston, and potentially building a life here, starting a family, something like that. So I mean, I'm not closed off to the idea. Um, I mean, obviously California's California. You can't beat the weather there, but
Yeah.
I lived in California my whole life. There's a lot of things I love about it, a lot of things that I hate about it. Mainly just the politics. And sometimes the people in California can be very fake. And that was one thing I kind of like got to experience here in Boston. People are a lot more like upfront and real with you, and I appreciate that a lot. So, could I ever see myself out here? Yeah, I could. I could.
Yeah. I mean, there's ton of job opportunities out there too. So I mean,
Yeah,
they're
there's
they're they're,
always.
they're endless. I mean, shoot,
Yeah.
you could even move to Georgia too if you want. There's tons of stuff down here. You could come hang out. So
Yeah. What part of Georgia are you in? Are you at
so
the ATL? Or?
yeah, yeah. I'm not in Atlanta, but I'm like I think like 40 minutes north of the city. So there's a lake.
Nice.
There's a big lake called Lake Lanier, and I live like really like right off that lake.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I've never been to Georgia, so maybe one day I'll come out there.
Yeah. So when with the whole team, when you guys got like set up and met for like the first time and started doing workouts, how did you guys would you guys gel like pretty quickly on like understanding each
Yeah,
other?
we clicked pretty easily, man. It just it was almost like just four perfect puzzle pieces coming together. There really wasn't ever any like butting heads or personalities conflicting. We just we clicked right away, and it was we still kind of joke around like how surreal it is that we were just like literally complete strangers, and then a couple days later, like here we are together on a team, getting ready for the semis. So yeah, I mean everything's been going super well. We picked up the worm pretty easily together. I take the lead on that one, and just how they feed off my communication skills very well with the worm. Everything's just I mean, we're super excited. It's going to be tough, but we know we know that the games could be a possibility if we believe in it. So we're ready, we're prepared for it, and we're just super excited.
Yeah. So how do you guys like handle each other's weaknesses throughout like the whole like workout?
Like I would say Lindsay would be the one who would probably tell you that she's like the quote weak link, but but everyone's got their own strengths and weaknesses here. Like I'm not exactly the strongest dude on the team, and Luke is pretty strong, but he wouldn't say that he's the most strongest guy in the world as well. But man, Lindsay and Danny, could they move a barbell? Like holy shit! So where we lack in strength, the girls kind of pick up. Um, Obviously, I would say like Lindsay would say some of her struggles would be with like the strict handstand push-ups, especially the new wall facing variation. But I mean, those are things that like I excel in. Danny does pretty well, and so we complement each other well. Um, so I mean, we're not too worried about seeing things thrown our way.
Yeah, yeah. So so how do you guys like train throughout like the whole week? Because I know obviously like Lindsay's a firefighter and coach and stuff like that, and you're coaching different areas, and I don't know what the other two are doing, but like how do you guys like get together and train together?
Yeah, we make it work as much as we can. Like Lindsay, right? She works 24s, so she's only gone for a day, and so she's around most of the time. So I'll go down, and like I'm going down there to work out with her tomorrow. Not sure what Luke's doing. I think Luke might be there as well. I believe sometime uh, soon we're gonna meet up as a full four-person team at Danny's gym and work on the worm and stuff. So we make it work. It's really not that much of an issue. We probably train at least 2 or 3 times together a week.
Okay. All right. Very cool. Very cool. So, with the workouts that came out, were you guys like pretty excited of what you saw for like the programming for the quarterfinals?
For the teams,
Yeah, yeah, for the teams.
everything was there. There wasn't any glaring event that made us like think that it was going to like hold us up or anything like that. I know Lindsay isn't. She would say she's not the greatest like squatter. So like she did struggle a little bit on the front squat event, but even despite that, like we still finished, I think, I forget, the top 25 in that event. So we did really
Mhm.
well in that event regardless. Trying to remember what event two was. I'm already forgetting what the events are.
Hold on, I got it on my phone. I was prepared, so
Yeah, you're a good dude. You're a good
yeah.
dude. I think the event two is the rope climb, shoulder
Yeah,
overhead.
yeah.
Was that what
So
that?
so it was like 400-meter row, 10 synchro
Yeah,
shoulder
that one.
overheads and one max rope climbs.
Yeah, it's like and like that one. I think we were a little nervous about it because we're just visualizing all the teams with like 5'9", 5'10" athletes that are just going to be throwing themselves up that rope. But we actually did a lot better than I thought we were going to in that workout. We had another really high end top finish. The dumbbell thruster shuttle run workout was another one we did really well in. I'm trying to think of an event. We didn't really ever have a bad event. We pretty much finished even keel on all of our events. Like after the first, unfortunately with the teams, they didn't really have that those windows where you can kind of see where you are after the first deadline, the second deadline, and then like know what you have to do for that final workout. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Like the individuals have the day one deadline, and then they have like the quote moving day on day two, where like the leaderboard really shuffles around. And then from there, you see like, okay, this is what I have to do to stay in the qualifying spot, or what I need to do to get into a qualifying spot for that third day. With the teams, it was just like we just had that one deadline day, and then that's it. Like all the scores are going to be due for the second one. So we were a little nervous about that because the first deadline window only had 2 workouts, which doesn't really tell you much in terms of where you're going to stack up in the leaderboard. Because I think the second and final window deadline had 3 workout submissions. So that's like the one that really is going to shuffle the leaderboard up. So we were a little nervous. I mean, we were, I think, 25th after the first window deadline. So we were in a comfortable spot. But again, 3 workouts can change a lot of stuff. But we ended up moving up, I think, another like 3 or 4 spots to 21st. So it was fine. We were pretty relatively smooth with all of our workouts. Never had a really bad workout, and we didn't really have a workout that we absolutely destroyed. We were just pretty even keel, which is fine. And yeah, now we're ready and we're pumped. Semis, here we come.
Yeah, and you want to kind of keep be even keel like throughout the whole thing, because obviously like if you excel in one thing and then you don't on the other, that could really screw you up. So if you're kind of like right in the middle, you kind of balanced, I think.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, even kind of just shows that we don't necessarily have glaring weaknesses or glaring strengths. So hopefully we can kind of get similar events like that in the semis. We know we'll see a lot of different things that unfortunately we don't really have access to out here. Like I know, man, I'd be shocked if we didn't see that stupid torque sled thing out there, which we don't have a torque sled around here. Trying to think of anything else. I mean, unless they throw anything super obscure.
They're gonna bring
Torque
a snail.
Is the torque. Shut that snail at the center. I don't know, man. It's possible. Who knows? Who knows, man? But yeah, I guess the torque tank would be the only thing I could think of that we don't really have access to. But from friends of mine that have used it, they say it's a pretty irrelevant piece of tool. Like you could only push it
So
to a
far,
certain degree.
so hard. Yeah.
So hard. Otherwise, if you try to go too hard, it pushes back on you more. And so everyone's only going at a certain pace. So you're never going to pass someone on a torque, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Unless they're just absolutely just not even moving it. But yeah, so I hear it's a pretty irrelevant piece of equipment in terms of implementing it in a competition.
Yeah. So were you there when Vic was trying to measure the rope for 15 feet?
Oh, dude, did you hear about that story?
Yeah, a little bit. He talked about it in the other podcast, but like I want to kind of like get your view on it.
Yeah, Vic's a good dude. Vic's a good dude. He was helping us out as much as he could, being the alternate on the team, or one of the alternates, or at least, I don't know. This sounds bad. I don't even remember who our alternates were designated anymore. But he was helping us out, supporting us as much as he could. So he goes and measures, or at least tries to measure the rope without dying. And unfortunately, we had this incident where, like, we were gonna record it, but don't ask me why. Don't ask me why, and she'll probably be pissed for me bringing this up. But Danny only recorded the bottom part of the rope, like she didn't pan up to like show the target or anything like that. So she only showed the bottom piece of the rope. So CrossFit ends up messaging or emailing us saying like, "Hey, like you didn't show your whole length of the rope, so your video can possibly get invalidated." So we were kind of freaking out a little bit, but I mean, luckily CrossFit was just like, "Hey, just remeasure the rope, send us in, and you'll be good." So we were sending in security footage. We were sending in like a Facebook Live footage that we did. And then we ended up going back into the gym, remeasured the rope for them, sent them that video. So we sent them like 4 or 5 different videos just to verify that we weren't cheating or anything like that. I was convinced that we were going to have to redo it. I was really convinced we were going to have to redo it, but CrossFit let us slide.
Yeah. So Hannah Hardy told us a little trick that she used when she was working at training think tank. So they got a 15-foot PVC pipe with the ruler on it. And so what they did was
tape it around.
Yeah, you tape the ruler around the PVC pipe and then you just stand it up and say, "Hey, here's 15 feet right here."
Yeah, I don't know why we didn't think of that when Victor was doing it, because when we went back in to remeasure the rope for CrossFit, That's exactly what I did. I was like, oh, here's an idea. I grabbed a PVC pipe, took the measuring tape, taped it with this duct tape around the top of the PVC pipe, and just held it up. And yeah, it was like, why didn't we fucking just do this in the first place?
Yeah, instead of him putting up boxes and trying to climb up the rope with like no shoes on and shit.
Yeah, it was sketch. Yeah, he was like holding on to the rope. The ladder wasn't quite high enough, so he had to like literally climb the rope, hold it, and just like stay there for as long as he could. It was pretty fun.
Jeez. So
He's a good dude though.
he is. I know he does a lot for around that and tries to help out as much as he can, which is a cool thing. So
Yeah, definitely.
so with those Ice Age meals that you got on your Instagram page, like how long is that gonna last you?
Oh man, dude, God bless Ice Age meals. That was one thing, unfortunately, I didn't quite have access to when I was here last time for the 2 months that I lived here,
Mm-hmm.
because I had every month they send me a gift card and just allow me to order whatever I want, part of my sponsorship deal with them. So I had already put in that order back at home before I was ever even presented this opportunity with the team. So I had my meals there. So then by the time I came out to Boston, I had already used up like my monthly meal count. And they don't send me my gift card until I think like the first or second week of every month.
Mm-hmm.
So they sent me my next gift card when I was here, but I was already like prepared to leave like in 2 weeks. So I didn't want to order all those meals, risk them like not using them all up. So I didn't get access to them last time, but I made sure I ordered them as soon as I got home, have them ship out to where I'm staying out here in Framingham. And man, those things are a lifesaver, absolute lifesaver. Because that was probably my biggest expense when I was here was food. I was spending so much money on food, and I'm privileged to be a part of Ice Age meals because I forgot how expensive grocery foods can be, because I've been blessed to just have these meals for me since I've been part of Ice Age meals. So great company, man. Those guys are awesome. They're just super supportive in every way. I think they literally send me another gift card to order some more meals if I need some, because I think they heard about my situation last time. But super amazing company, man. So if you guys are listening to this, go support them, order from them, use my promo code, or hell, don't even use my promo code. I don't care. Just go support them.
Yeah, and also you since about supporting, Misfit has a T-shirt out with your name on it to support you, so you can go down to Orlando.
Yes, Misfit Athletics, man. Those guys have always been the most supportive, amazing community to be a part of. I'm super blessed and fortunate to have Kelly a part of them as well. So our programming is pretty similar. So we get to kind of like help sharpen each other up, no pun intended, sharpen each other's axe, and just be able to train together, being a part of the Misfit community. And yeah, they made a fundraiser shirt for all the athletes that made it out. Kelly, Natalie Talbert, another close friend who was on the regionals team with Kelly and I, she made it as an individual female. So she had a fundraiser shirt through Misfit. So it's just a great community to be a part of, man. The programming, not only I think, I might be biased, but I think it's some of the best out there. And they're just an amazing community to be a part of, because they just will always help you out no matter what. Even if you're not even one of their top like athletes, like a lot of the times if you're just like emailing them and being like, hey, I have a team that made it into the intermediate division at Wadapalooza, or like the scale division at Wadapalooza, they'll still send out gear, support them. They're amazing.
Yeah, I mean their Discord page is awesome. Like I literally get notifications like it doesn't matter, like 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, like, oh, I did this workout, I did
they're
that
always
workout.
chatting.
Yeah,
they're always chatting in that group, man. It's pretty funny. Yeah, it's a great community to be a part of.
yeah, I love it. I mean, I've been with them for gosh, like 6 years, maybe 6+ years.
Yeah.
So it's been a while.
I've done almost every program out there in the books, man. I've been doing CrossFit for so long. I don't know if any listeners here are OG enough to remember programs like the Outlaw Way.
Yep, I've done that.
Or any of those. Yeah, right. That's so old school. So I've pretty much done every single program you could think of, Invictus, Comp Train, uh, whatever the hell else out there. I can't even think of any. Mayhem. I've kind of dove into Mayhem a little bit, but Misfit's the one I've kind of stuck with the most. I've been doing it since 2018.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're out there listening to this, kind of new to the game, trying to get into the competitive field, or just looking to just find a program that's got a great community, check out Misfit Athletics. Man, they're amazing.
Yeah, I agree. I love their program. I like you. I've done Outlaw. I've done Comp Train. I've done Bergner Strength. I've done their CrossFit like little like path, and they didn't finally shut it down. But like since I've been doing, Misfit. I haven't lifted as much weight ever. It's insane.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty beautifully programmed stuff. And then honestly, it's what kind of slowly got me introduced to like what Zone 2 was with all the lap sessions and stuff.
Yep.
So it's been super helpful. And then I still work with Kenzie Riley, and she's just absolutely amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been working with her for almost 2 years now.
Yeah, Mama too. So, and she still kills it.
Oh, dude, she's awesome, man.
Yeah. So when you're packing for Massachusetts, since it's getting a little bit warmer out, so like what were you packing from California back to come to Massachusetts for a little bit?
So I was more concerned about, because again, I packed for 2 months. I was going to be gone, so I packed so much shit. I ended up paying like both ways $100 overweight fee on my suitcase. So honestly, that was like the one thing I was more concerned about. I was like, okay, you don't need to pack nearly as much. So I was more concerned about just making sure that my suitcase stayed under 50 pounds. And I was right on the dot. I think it was like 50 and a half, and they let me slide with my half pounder. But yeah, one of the things was like, okay, it's not going to be as cold, so you don't have to worry about bringing a heavy jacket or anything like that. So I just got my my sweater. That's pretty much it.
Okay.
And I also kind of hoping to leave a little wiggle room for extra goodies that I might see at semis when I'm there.
Mm-hmm. So when are you guys planning to go down to Orlando?
I think that Tuesday.
Okay. Yeah. So do you guys have like a hotel room set up and everything like that, or?
Yeah, I think we got a few rooms booked. I know my male teammate, I think he's looking into an Airbnb still. So yeah, I think that's what we're doing. And then luckily where we're staying, at least the hotels that we booked already, I want to say like a 5-10 minute walk to the venue.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And then plus it's so much easier on being on the East, because the tickets down to Orlando are way cheaper than what they would be if I was in California.
Yeah, I could literally drive there. It'll take me about like 7 hours. So
no, that's not too bad. Yeah.
No, it's like going to Rosemary Beach. It's like takes like 5 or 6 hours going through like Alabama to like the Gulf Coast of Florida and stuff. So it's I've done it multiple times. It's kind of easy. So
nice. Are you gonna be down? Are you gonna be down in Orlando?
I haven't told my wife. I haven't asked my wife yet. So I'm just kind of. I really want to. I'm like, shit, I will sleep in my truck just to go to this thing, because like I would love to just go down there and like see everybody and kind of like watch the whole thing, because I've the only time I've seen a live competition was the Southeast regions when Chandler Smith, when Ben Smith were doing that deadlift, and they were racing each other. And so this is when Chandler Smith like started coming into like the fold of like, he's a pretty legit CrossFit athlete. And I saw that, and that was the only day I saw a competition, and that was it.
Yeah, now he's out in the West.
Yeah, crazy.
Or Van Victus. Yeah, it would be cool, man. And then we could finally, meet and connect in person.
Yeah. There's like,
it'd be really cool.
I'm trying to reach out to CrossFit to get press passes, since like, I'm part of a, I got a podcast and everything like that. And so just, they're so, I haven't heard anything from them at all.
I'm trying to think. I know they're being super oddly strict with like photography and videography. Like, I think you have to specifically tell them like who you're there for, what company you're there for. So I'm not sure. You know what I can do, honestly, is I can hit up Andrew Hiller and see like if he's going to be there, and if he is, like, how did he end up getting a media pass? And I can get back to you and see how that process works.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I wouldn't mind, like, because I wouldn't mind like seeing like Gabe and like everyone else from like that whole group of you know, friends that they got there. So, and kind of, you know,
Yeah.
shoot the shit with them. So
Yeah. That'd be fun, man.
yeah.
I'm excited. I'm really
Yeah.
excited for it.
So I know, like I'm really excited for you for going down there too. So what are you, what's the, obviously making games is like the end goal, but like, do you have like any goals to like, you know, get the team name like out there, like out in the CrossFit space saying, hey, we're legit?
Oh, dude, 100%. Dude, honestly, at the end of the day, in all seriousness, the games is the number one priority. I mean, that's the goal. But for me personally, and I'm safe or comfortable enough to speak for my teammates as well, is at the end of the day, we're out there competing for the affiliate cup. And at the end of it all, it's the affiliates that are the most important. It's the affiliates that matter. It's the affiliates that drive the sport. It's what keeps the sport going. It's what keeps the brand of CrossFit going. So, at least for me, and I know for Lindsay especially, being the owner of 1977, uh, I just want to make the community of 1977 as proud as possible to be able
Mhm.
to just see, like, hey, our team is out there for the first time at semis. These are the four who are representing us. I want our efforts, everything that we do in those 3 days that we're competing, to be a direct reflection of the hard work that those members put in at 77. And I just want to bring them a sense of pride, to be, and just be proud to say, like, hey, that's my gym. This is what I represent. And that's for me, honestly, my biggest primary goal, or
Yeah.
even over making the games. Honestly, I just want to make that community proud. They've done so much for me in the 2 months I was there. They were welcoming, super nice, super supportive. Still kept in touch even when I went back home, asking like when I'm coming back. So if they ever do end up listening to this podcast, like I want them to know, like I just want to be out there and just represent them to the fullest, make them proud, and I want them to know that, like, yeah, I'm literally every time I want to quit when I'm out there, just remembering I'm representing 77, and that's honestly at the end of the day what matters. And I really hope more just high level social media influencing CrossFit athletes would promote the affiliates more, because it kind of seems like in the old school days, I know you remember, it was kind of cool to be able to see what athlete was out of what gym and who they represented. But I feel like it's kind of missing in the sport now, where a lot of these athletes just compete out of their garages or just train out of their garage gyms. And there's kind of not much representation for the affiliates in terms of the individual side. And even with the teams, it kind of just seems like, yeah, they're representing an affiliate, but it's kind of become more of like a super team dynamic thing. Like
Yeah. Yep.
even with the mayhem teams, those guys are always kind of switching around. And then like even with this new proven team coming out of like East Nashville or whatever, Tia's gym, it's like, I don't know, do those people actually really go to that gym? And I don't know, not to judge them. I'm sure they're probably in the community, but I just assume that they're just there for a team, maybe not necessarily to go out and represent East Nashville. Like, I don't even think it's in their team name, or maybe it is. I could be
No,
wrong.
no,
But
I don't. No, I think it's like Proven Fitness or something like that. But it's crazy. Like I've actually been to that gym, and it is like, it is enormous,
oh yeah, it
enormous.
looks beautiful.
So in like the back end where like the Proven team is, it used to be like an Olympic weightlifting like station, like area where like they have like all those like lifting pads, jerk blocks, and all that stuff, and they completely
Mm-hmm.
cleaned it out and made it, put a rig on there. So like they can run the classes, and then Proven can just like hang out in the back over there, and just like, I think they maybe like rent a little bit of the space out, but it's like literally two football fields together. And it's just,
Jesus.
it's and they literally on the so when you walk in on the right hand side, they literally have like a grass turf like all the way through from like the beginning of the whole facility all the way to the end of it.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah. And
Yeah, that's
it's
crazy.
And you could literally, like, if you go outside to like where like the garage, the doors are, like you could see the Nissan Stadium where like the Tennessee Titans play, like literally like right over like the tree line.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. That's pretty
Yeah,
cool. Yeah, but I mean, like, yeah. So I wish more of the higher level athletes would promote the affiliates more,
yeah,
because I mean, CrossFit will never admit this, but I know more than probably most people know in terms of the regards of like the affiliate numbers. They're kind of hurting a little bit, and I just wish that like more of these games athletes would use their platform a little bit more to promote, like, support your local affiliate, or re-affiliate with CrossFit if you unaffiliated. Let's build the brand back up.
yeah. Well, I think the whole like Greg Glassman thing didn't really help out, and so then like people realize like I supposedly from what I've heard is all you need is people to like two people in your like your group to have the judges course, and you could run the open in your gym.
I think you still have to be an affiliate.
I don't think so. I heard all you need is like because I know Neil Maddox is not affiliated, and he has him and somebody else was a judge, took the CrossFit course, and were able to do the open at his gym supposedly.
Without a video submission.
Yeah, I think so.
I want to say that was true for last year's Open or the
Gotcha.
year prior, but like for this year's Open, I believe they changed it back. Like where you were required to, if you were not going to submit a video, it had to be done at a CrossFit affiliate. Because I remember, back at home, there's a gym out of Santa Cruz who is no longer affiliated. So they would always, for the Open, their members would go over to Kelly's gym, actually Kelly's gym, CrossFit Up, and they would do the workouts there because they had to.
Gotcha. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
So obviously like the work like managing the affiliates and like talking more about the affiliates and all the other people. What else do you think that CrossFit needs to do to, get that big group of numbers like they did in the Open like a couple years back?
Do they just need to be more transparent, and they need to be more transparent with the value that they bring with that, by affiliating with the brand, because a lot of people didn't like. I don't know if you kind of watched like a recent video of Andrew Hiller where I think he had, I want to say her name's Emily Kaplan. I forget her name, but she's in charge of the CrossFit book,
Mm-hmm.
where she talked about like the settlement that CrossFit ended up doing with the
And
NSCA,
yeah, yep.
that they were suing. So, and a lot of people didn't know about that process, and how CrossFit fought using the money that affiliates would use for
Mhm.
their affiliate fee. They were using, like, that's what they were using to fight, to make sure that like it wasn't illegal for trainers to promote CrossFit or teach CrossFit. I know the NSCA was trying to make it like illegal somehow for, I could be misinterpreting this, but it's illegal for like CrossFit coaches to talk about nutrition. And nutrition is like literally the staple of what the CrossFit brand is about and promotes. So I think if like CrossFit was just did a better way of letting people know, like, hey, these are the battles that we're fighting for you guys, so you guys can keep promoting the things that change lives inside the gym. And a lot of people just weren't aware of that. And I think if CrossFit just did a better way, or had a better way of just communicating, and getting that type of information out there to the people and affiliates, then they would understand that they weren't just paying a blank fee to be affiliated with the brand every
Mhm.
year. And I did hear that they made their CAP program free for,
Great, which is cool. Yeah.
which is really cool, and that's a step in the right direction for sure.
Yeah, very cool. So we're getting close to the end. Obviously, I'm like, there's like final questions, but you've already did them, and like you probably nothing's really changed anyway. So, so
I remember something about me being dead. What
yep.
my favorite movie was.
Oh, favorite
Something
book,
about that.
because like you said you
Oh
didn't
yeah, the
read.
book.
Yeah, favorite
Yeah, no.
book. Any what's in your gym bag? Oh, what was the other one? And gym bag, and then like what do you want people to know you as? And then like,
Oh, that's right. That's
where do
right.
people be able to reach out to you? So we'll just do the reach
Yeah.
out to you part. So where can people reach out to you if they want to ask you questions about like affiliates, or if they have a job opening for you, if you want to take it in Massachusetts or Cali? So like where can reach out to you if they need a coach or want to ask about like coaching?
Easiest way is my Instagram. Instagram, Lucas Poolboy. Pretty simple. I'm pretty sure I'm the only Lucas Poolboy out there, so I pop up pretty easy. But yeah, if you're ever in need of nutrition help or just want to follow my wondrous life, you can find me there.
Are you gonna change the Instagram picture anytime soon at all, or do you like that like AI design?
Oh yeah, no, I like the AI. It kind
Okay.
of fits. It kind of fits well. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on. Obviously, like I would like to have you more as a regular. Maybe you can come on with a touch and go gang once a month or whatever like that. We'll figure something out. So,
Yeah,
but
that'd be
dude,
cool, man. Yeah.
yeah, dude, thank
Let's
you.
I'll definitely be down to like, talk about post semis, man, or something. Hopefully next time we talk, I'll be at games after eight or
Yeah.
something by then.
Well, I'm hoping for it. So, but dude, thank you for coming on. We'll talk later. Okay.
Of course, man. Appreciate it.
All right, dude. Thank you for doing this.